And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at a game called Yummy Yummy Monster Tummy. Wait, and I really mean this. Yummy Yummy Monster Tummy. Well, you already clicked the link for this, so you're going to assume this is a kids game, and it is. It's from Lucky Duck. Their kids section, their newly made kids section. Lucky Duck is probably best known for Chronicles of Crime, a game in which you use an app along with your, the cards in the game to go around and discover a mystery. And in fact, they have another game called Kids Chronicles, which I'll talk about in another video that does the same thing. But this one here also uses an app. And in this app, you are putting together colors to feed monsters. It sounds very, very kiddie, right? Well, yes and no. Let me show you. So this game needs an app, and I found that using the iPad worked really well in this case, but you could use anything. You just need to have an upwards facing phone on it. You're also going to have a deck of cards. You can see each of these cards as a QR code, but what they have on the back of them, they have different things that monsters like to eat that are various colors. And they're not just a few colors, there is all kinds of shades of colors in here. Some of the items are wild, these candies wild, and some of them have vitamin inside, which vitamins tend to make a monster really irritated. So when you play a game, you're going to play story mode or party mode. What story mode does, let's say I pick easy, you can pick easy, medium, or hard. So let's say I'll pick medium. And you play with 3 players. And then you're going to pick where you're going to play it. You start here in the attic and you'll go farther. There's 3 different things in the attic. You'll see on this mode, I've gotten 2 stars in each of them, but you can possibly get 3 stars. When you get to each new location, you'll get a bunch of more cards that get added to the deck. So you can see blueberries get added here when you go to the forest. Whoops, I have the wrong chapters in the wrong thing. And a banana peel from Grandma's attic. There's a few other things. It's not that big of a secret. And you can always mix all the decks together and play party. So let's say we're playing in the attic here. And what happens is, it tells you here, shuffle all the unlocked cards that you have. Deal 6 cards to each player. All right, so we do that. And now there's a monster there. So we need to feed that monster food that when you combine the colors, gives that monster something akin to blue. So maybe I'm look where, and you have your own cards in your own hand, and I'll say, okay, I'm going to give him this cauliflower here. So I put the cauliflower over the camera, and we scan it, and that's one of the 3 cards. We're playing with 3 players. Now there is sounds on this, and if you like the sound of burping or a background sound, so now let's get now. I gave the monster a vitamin. You'll notice this timer came up here. If we give the monster another vitamin in this time frame, we'll lose. So after 3 cards, that goes away. So you can give some vitamins, but not too many. But let's give him this vinyl here. Okay, so now we have a dark blue, and then hopefully this underwear kind of. So we're hoping that these 3 cards combined give us this shade of blue that the monster is. Like I said, burping. Woo! An 80% match there. So that gave us 2 stars, and then everyone will draw a new card. Now that vitamin thing is still in effect. Now let's pretend we don't give one. I'm assuming these 3 will not do well. So we'll give them a pink card, a remote, and another vitamin here, which we can do now that the counter went away. Let's see. Do those 3 colors make purple? Probably not. 51%. Not very good. And then you lose. Now, that may seem pretty drastic, but hopefully players are going to get pretty close to that. So you can go and you can just play party mode, where you pick the number of players and play with whatever cards you want. And then there's a few other settings on here. There are some creatures that show up. Let's turn down this music here. There are some creatures like rabbits that only want vitamins. And then there are other creatures with big ears that want various things. So there's going to be all kinds of stuff that will pop and show up and work with things as we go through. But that kind of is how you play through. You have to go through a certain number of monsters to win, and then it will kind of average out how many stars you got and give you a final score. That's how you play. If you're playing in a story mode, as you go through, when you play through, you'll unlock and get to go to the next thing, the forest, and then you say, all right, we'll take the forest cards and add them in. Some of them have special abilities here at the bottom and more shades of colors and things like that. That's it. So as I said, everything in here looks really nice. I'm pretty impressed with the vast variety of colors here. I don't think any of the colors are exactly the same. So, for example, you can see these greenish blues here. They all look different, and I really like that. The artwork itself is really fun, and kids get that. And the app itself, as far as for me, it worked pretty flawlessly. So as with all Lucky Duck stuff, just really good components. There's a lot of people out there in the board gaming world who hate the use of apps. None of them under the age of 18. Every kid in the world likes using apps. It's fun, and so therefore this works really well in that regard. Also, the app works really smoothly. I didn't have any problems with it waving the cards over the camera. It was just a nice, smooth app combining with the cards. So this is a cooperative game, and I'm a big fan of cooperative games with children because you're all working together. It's not the easiest cooperative game, but it is very intuitive. As you sit there and you teach the kids, and they're like, okay, so this color, with a two-player game, it's very interesting because you have purple, and I'll be like, I have a red card, you have a blue card, da, 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 da. And then you go for that percentage, and for the kids getting that third star, and it's amusing to me because my son, who's 7, who I played this game with a lot, he gets those percentages. He gets the idea of getting the stars and that stuff. Things that I didn't think about when I was a kid are commonplace because they're in video games all the time. So that worked together, but I like the whole color aspect to this game. Now, we often talk about color sometimes as a negative in games because of folks who are colorblind, and that's going to be an issue here. But at the same time, this game is about color, so that's what you have to look at in this situation. And I like the idea of mixing it together. It's a very different game, honestly, with 3 or 4, because with 2, you say it's halfway between these two. With 3 or 4, it's kind of more of a combination. I don't know how the algorithms work in the app, but they do work. And then there's little things that are added. At the beginning, your big thing is, when do we play a vitamin card? I have this vitamin card. It's the perfect color. When do I play it? Because I don't want to play a vitamin card where then you have to play one. The wild cards, when do we play them? But later on, there come cards that say, okay, everything's now in black and white. Or you want those vitamin cards and save them because rabbits come and you need to feed the rabbit. Or if you feed a specific type of card to one of the monsters, you get to draw an extra card and therefore have a bigger hand. None of this stuff is groundbreaking, but what it does is it makes the game more interesting. But here's the deal with Yummy Yummy Monster Tummy. When I grew up, there was terrible kids games on the market. When I first started playing games with my children, I discovered many of these games are terrible. Many games are terrible in the sense that kids enjoy them, but parents hate them, and you tolerate them because your child is enjoying them. Over the past 20 years, I've introduced, hopefully if you watch my videos about kids games, you to many games that work well with kids and don't bore the adults, where you can have fun playing them together. There's a lot. This one is the first time in a while where I am asking my son to play the game rather than the other way around. And by the way, I played this with all my kids, and we all enjoyed it, but I was like, hey, do you want to play this? Because I wanted to play it. This is a kids game that I enjoyed. I'm so fascinated by the colors, and each level gets progressively harder. How can we make sure, okay, this color is a dead-on match, but I have 3 blues in my hand, and so I should probably get rid of a blue if possible. You could play this with a group of adults probably. And yes, there's that very, very low level, hey, they burp every time, and it's monsters, ah, la, la, la. There's that involved with it. And I don't know that I would play this with adults per se, but this is the most fun I've had playing a kids game in a long time. And my kids have had a good time playing it too. And that combination is fantastic. This game has a very, very silly name, Yummy Yummy Monster Tummy, to the point where I wonder if that's going to hurt the game a little bit because people look at that and go, silly little kids game. It is a silly little kids game. It's also a silly little adult game, and it's really fun. This is one of the best kids games I've played, possibly the best one that's come out this year. I think it is fantastic. And I mean, down here below, Kids Chronicles, this is another amazing game, but Yummy Yummy Monster Tummy, just one of the best ones I've played in a long time. If you have kids at all, doesn't matter what the age, I think you'll like this one. Check it out. I'm Tom Vasel. You've been watching the Dice Tower. Dice Tower judgment, excellent.